12 of the 4 Horsemen build along. Today we will be doing some more rust washes and such on this little guy. So pushing through. Hopefully soon we'll be done with all this and we can start with the diorama. So we may as well go around the room once again. Geo's MIA, so I doubt he'll be showing. But anyway, the show must go on. So let's kick it off with old mate Shane.
What's up, y'all? I am Shane, aka the Daft Robo, coming to you live from the laboratory. Courtney's over on the ground playing with a dog. I am got a few little more tidbits to do, and I'll be priming this dude probably in a few minutes, actually.
All right, awesome, and Robbie.
G'day. Name's Taz, Gundam Tas. Back in the lab.
Yeah, good to have you back, man.
Yeah, sorry, this has been delayed because I did move, and the lab is kind of, I guess, 80% set up, but it's enough to actually just start building. And yeah, it's good to be back, and let's get this show on the road. Yeah, that's it. So today we're gonna do some rust washes. We've already done a gunk wash, so you can see, so it should be all dirty by now, right? But what I like to do, you know, a lot of people will actually panel line this, but I think doing a gunk wash eliminates that step, because, you know, if you do it properly, then it should still be, you know, in the panel lines and shit like that. But as for weathering, though, I do like to put a bit of like a rust pin wash on, not all over the place, but on just certain spots. And to do that, you can either use, I think James is using enamel washers. I'm using oils. I'm using these bad boys right here, the Abtilong Light Rust as well. I also got these bad boys here, this Mr. Weathering color. But I don't use it as often because I'm just used to using oils now. Also, you've got acrylic washes as well, from Vallejo, MIG, so on and so forth. These are really good, but the only thing you gotta be careful about is the drying time. This dries much faster than these do. So with oil paints and enamels, you can kind of manipulate it more. But with acrylic ones, you gotta relatively work really quickly, and sometimes you might actually have to, you know, wet the surface first to actually work, especially if you've got a matte coat, because matte coat is porous. It will just soak it in. So if you are going to use acrylic washers, wet it first with a bit of water. But yeah, so what I got here, let's move a little dude aside. We'll start off with the head. All right. I just have, I just put down a small amount of this rust wash. I don't know if you can, I don't know how my lighting is.
No, that's good. That's fine.
I can see it.
So light rust. Also as well, you can, but for this exercise, we're only just going to do one tone. But realistically, rust comes in different tones, not just, you know, a dark reddy brown. It comes in oranges as well, like stain brown, for instance. But for this exercise, we're just going to do one, because my base coat is pretty dark.
How many
my base coat's pretty dark, so yeah. And what's good about adding pin washers is that it'll actually bring up all like details. Like if you put like weld lines and stuff like that, it will actually bring that out. So with this, I just use odorless solvent. I suggest you use odorless because sometimes the non-odorless one will stink. So like enamel thinners or even lighter fluid is actually pretty good. Again, lighter fluid dries heaps faster too, so just be careful. But anyway, let's start. So with this, it'll just be like adding a panel line wash, and I'm just going to add it in certain spots.
So are we aiming on this then? We're looking to get in our deep recesses, yeah?
Yep. Like where there's, if you put nuts and bolts, any race detail, if you're doing a tank or a car or a plane, like hatches and shit like that. But for this little dude, I'll probably just do it on the legs and probably on the knees. And some exposed parts as well, like the shoulder, the shield and the cauldron in the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, this light rust that I'm using is actually pretty good because I've got a dark base coat, so you can actually see that.
So essentially, we just want to work anywhere there's sort of hard edges that may be. Would you concentrate, on like areas you've done shipping as well?
Yes, you can, but you probably do that later. So this, like, you can add that like a rust detailing onto that, but this exercise only just pin washes. But yes, you can add little streaks and staining around the rust chips that you've done. Actually, if we've got enough time, I'll probably do some of that shit too tonight.
Yeah,
today.
Of course.
Awesome.
But for now, I'll just leave it where, around where the corners meet. Probably on the gun as well.
Now, with this as well, you're not going too crazy, yeah? So we just want to sort of work on little recesses, not do everything.
Not everywhere. I mean, you can, but then, you got to put it in an environment where it will rust everywhere.
Now,
so yeah, at the moment, I'm just putting it on, like, for instance, rivets and shit like that.
Yeah.
And raised bits. Just to add more detail, so it'll make it pop, basically. Around the back here. And also, you can dismantle your kit and do this limb by limb if you want. But when it comes to like detailing like this, I like to keep it together, so you can actually tell where you got a bit more a better sense as to where to put it.
Now, once you've done your pin wash, are you going back in and feathering it out with just your thinners as well?
Yep, with thinners and a flat brush. But you don't want to take off, like, for instance, in the back here, if you can see, or here, like where it's come up over here a bit. So I just want to clean that out, and I want to leave all the color on the actual recess of that bit. So same with your rivets, and raised parts, like where it shouldn't be. Yeah, clean that out.
Yep. Now, the joy of using oil and enamel is you have a long work time. So would you go over and do your whole suit first and then go back in and clean it up, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Depends how big the kit, depends how big your kit is as well. I tend to do mine section by section. If I'm doing a master grade, it'll be section by section. Because I sometimes forget like what I've done or what I've cleaned already, and
For sure.
It can be overwhelming as well. So again, with this, I didn't put any what do you call it? I didn't put any top coat in between the layers of this, but this has been sitting in my little box now for a few weeks, so it should be okay. It should be okay to clean it off. But my advice is, if you're in doubt, put a top coat on it when it's dry.
Yep. Now, with your rust tones as well, after this pin wash, do go in, like I know a few times that I've done, say, rust washes like this, I'll go in and use like rust pigment tones to then go back in and hit it again with a rust wash to give it a bit of texture?
Yes, most definitely you can, especially like those kind of effects look good on metal parts, like for instance the hand or the inner frame. That if you're doing the inner frame, yeah, by all means add pigments to it and texture. I don't think we'll do that on this though. Maybe the hands, if anything, so I can just show it to you.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't think it needs it. Another way of gaining texture while doing your chipping is actually scratching or damaging your parts. So it eliminates the use for pigments to add texture. Or you can grab like Vallejo's rust texture paints as well, which is rust colored thick paint. But I don't really like that because to me it's too thick. It doesn't look like natural.
Yeah.
So I'm just adding it here, adding it there. Maybe some on the arms. And as well, like once you've done this and you've done other like weathering, layers of weathering on top, and it looks like it's starting to go, it's starting to disappear, you can go back and add it again. A lot of modelers actually do that.
What's that? Add more rust washes after
add
the
more
fact?
if you think it's starting to fade away. If you put too much, like like an oil filter on it, yeah, you can just add it again. That's what's the beauty about this kind of technique. And it's up to you what sort of rust tones you want to use, I guess. But like I said, I'm only using the light orange, the light rust, because my base coat's dark, so I want it to stand out.
Now, what's also I see a lot of discussion online with this and a lot of people hating on rust washes and rusting on Gundam. I mean, in my opinion, who cares? It's made up. If it looks good, do it. But I see a lot of discussion about people like, oh, it's made of this alloy, it shouldn't rust, etc., etc. Now, it's a big case of do what you want, yeah, sure.
I just don't think that even in the fictitious world of Gundam, I don't think anything but the Gundams are made out of anything that wouldn't rust.
Yeah, because like Gundarium is
and I think it's only like
I don't know.
I only think it's like the armor too. I don't think it's like the entire mech is made out of that shit.
Well, yes, apparently all the space.
It's not like a DeLorean, is it?
Hey,
it's not like a DeLorean.
Yeah. So I don't know. To me, if it looks good, I can do it.
Exactly.
Gunpla is freedom after all, apparently.
Right?
Gunpla is freedom unless there's rust in space. Like, I don't know, man.
Then it's not right. Yeah, exactly.
Now, another thing, is there a specific, if I could talk, a specific type of brush you like to use for this sort of work to begin with?
At the moment, I'm using a shitty Citadel small or medium layer brush. That's what I'm using. I don't have a specific favorite when it comes to like doing rust washes. I just use the one that's not so bad. But when cleaning up, I do like a flat brush. I'll probably end up using this Tamiya one, a Tamiya flat brush to clean up. But I don't know, man. I like rust, dude. I don't care where it is.
We're 100% sure.
Rob likes
and aware of such things.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
First time you've ever weathered a kid, Taz?
Yeah, man. So we'll do some texture on the hands. some, because that's the most exposed bit out of this kit, I guess. So I'm just adding. All right.
Is it aluminum? I thought Brian's talking about aluminum. I thought it was stainless steel. That's why they're so expensive.
So what are you doing now there, Rob?
Just adding some more. That's all. I just put some in the hands there because you talked about texture, and I'll probably put some texture on the hands. So now that that's done, I'm just gonna let that sit for a while. Like I said, it's not all over the piece. It's in just several parts. Like, you know, I mean, I guess you can fucking wash the whole thing in rust, but I think it might be a bit too much, especially if it's still got paint. You can do an overall rust wash if you're doing an all rusted out kit.
Right, Ed?
Of course, but because it's still got paint, so, you know.
So how long would you let yours sit there and dry before you start going in and cleaning it up?
Going in to clean, give it a few minutes. Give it a few minutes, like 5 minutes or so. Because if you go straight in after you've washed it, you'll find that you will end up cleaning all the parts you've already washed.
Well, that is definitely one thing.
This head,
starting doing this.
This head is sorry.
That's one thing I've noticed with me when I was first starting to learn. I'd do a pin wash of rusts, and it wouldn't be fully dry even with the enamels, and I'd go back in and clean it. And by the time I'd wiped it all away, I was left with nothing.
Yeah, I tend to do that a lot too. Like, oh, God damn it. So I'd usually go outside, have a few bongs now, and, you know, have a cigarette, a few bongs, and then come back and then start the cleaning process. Or you can use dryer, but I think that's too much. It might dry it out like straight away, like completely dry it out, and it'll be a bastard to clean off.
For sure.
But for instance, this head is that's pretty much dried now.
Yep.
So I can clean off the excess.
All right. So do you want to just run through that process?
The cleaning process.
Hey, George.
Hey, mate. So the cleaning process, I'm just using a flat brush, any flat brush. Actually, for smaller parts, try to use a thinner flat brush, because you don't want to wipe out, you know, all the parts that you've already done, and you might do that with a thicker brush. So this medium, I think what size is this? Number 2, like a number 2 flat brush from Tamiya, should be okay for something of this size.
Now you're wetting the brush.
You can see that,
yes.
Sorry, what was that, man?
Are you wetting the brush first with a bit of thinner before you start?
Yeah.
Now,
I'm using,
for the people watching, how moist do you want that brush to be?
You want it heaps moist. Nah. That's a good question. I can't actually. I tend to just wipe it on my hand or something, man.
You don't want it like
drip. You don't want it
dripping.
too moist, but you don't want it too dry. And you'll kind of notice it when you start cleaning. If it's cleaning too much, then lessen it. Like, you know, rub it on a bit of towel, a bit more, and vice versa. So, what I'm doing now is, like I said, odorless fucking thinner. Or you can use the enamel thinner. You can use lighter fluid. Lighter fluid is apparently less abrasive, but I find that is like it dries so quick. So, but what I'm using is this bad boy here. Odorless solvent, just to save my lungs from the smell. So I said I'll just dip it, right, and just wipe off the excess. So it's kind of like you're dry brushing, really. Wipe off the excess and then clean.
Now, when you clean, do you have a direction you like to stroke?
I like to clean up, down. Feather it up down.
Very up and down.
Up
Very
down,
up and
yeah.
down. Yep.
So you're
So,
feeding it below.
Is it essentially the way gravity would work and cause streaking similar?
Streaking, yeah. And that's another thing we're going to do after this as well. After we've done a filter, we can go back and do like grime streaking and rust streaking as well.
Very cool.
But that will be on the next episode. But yeah, so just for this, for instance, just doing right where, like right there. Just leaving the top.
That's true, Jordan. So we were talking about DeLorean in the chat. Brian says thought it was an aluminum, but it is stainless steel. But they both do oxidize, he says.
Well, there you go.
So, I don't know, man. Yeah. But to me, like, look. If I'm gonna do a realistic build, then no, like all the things that should not rust, I will not rust it. But for something fun like this, I'll rust it, man, because it just adds a little layer, adds more dimension to your piece, especially if it's weathered, and especially where this dude is gonna be. He's a grunt suit, so what he won't have the Gundarium alloy, wouldn't he? He'll just have a normal type.
I don't think
metal.
The no right? Xeon suits have it. Robots.
Yeah.
What?
Well, there you go. So we shall rust the fuck out of it. And
ribbits.
Well, what can we tell you? Well, Brian, actually, someone bought the DeLorean factory, and they're actually making new parts. So, if you want to buy a DeLorean in the States, at least, it's easy to get parts again.
I don't know why you'd want to buy one, to be honest.
Right. Why wouldn't you?
I don't want
because I have taste.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're not. I imagine you'd be like early 80s, like Block of Seagulls haircut, like just after a crazy Coke bender, shoulder pad suit, get in your DeLorean and drive away. All bad stuff.
Are DeLoreans actually good cars? Are they actually good cars?
I don't think they're good cars. I would not say good.
So they really only gained popularity because of that movie, right?
I think so.
So if
I'm just gonna highlight the comment because it made me laugh too much.
VW Golf. Then VW Golf.
What did you retract?
What was that?
Got it. Yep.
So if anyone needs to remember about cleaning your rust washers, lots of up and down. Don't get it too moist.
Got it.
Yeah, it's the only time you don't want it too moist. You want it, otherwise, the wetter the better, eh?
Hey, unless
Say no more.
Pearly, have you ever been with a lady?
So see where I kind of like, put some paint over here on the foot, so you can just wash that off. But you're leaving some inside there in the crevasses.
I like turtles. Brian, I like turtles a lot too.
Again, with a cauldron too, where there's all that excess that pulled on the lip.
I'm
so just want to get rid of that.
Ooh, Brian, what do you drink with your gin, man?
Gin and juice.
No, gross.
Gin and juice. Hey, it's good enough for Snoop. It's good enough for me.
No.
I was watching. Speaking of Snoop, I was watching this show on Netflix called like Rhythm and Flow or Hustle Rhythm or some shit. I don't know. It's
Hustle,
like
was it Hustle and Flow?
No, not Hustle and Flow. That's actually
the rapping documentary.
No.
Sonic, baby.
No,
yeah.
Searching for the
No, this was like the search for the next rap superstar.
Yeah, that's what Forty just said. It's like a
talent. And I'd hate to say it, man, but rap is dead.
Oh, dude, it's been dead for fucking years. What are you talking?
Hip hop is dead.
Well, I don't listen to that shit.
It was funny when Cardi B
New hip hop.
judging and everyone thinks she's a fucking mad MC, and everyone, all these kids, like, oh, Cardi B is the judge, blah blah blah. I'm like, fuck off, man, really? Like, and fucking Ti, like Ti's fucking anyway. I was watching this shit and it was hilarious because like there are some good young MCs out there, but they all sound fucking the same, man. They all sound the
because
same.
they're trying to sound the same. But they're trying to sound like someone else.
No, but they're how they flow. Don't get me wrong. Content's always different. What they rap about, right?
Yeah.
But it's just how they flow. It's the same. It's the same. It's just
The cadence is the same.
Yeah, I was watching it and I'm like, oh my god, everyone's going, oh, Cardi B's one of the judges. Oh, I'm losing my mind. And I'm like, oh, seriously? Or
is it wrong that I don't even know who the fuck that is?
No, no, we don't know. We don't yet.
So
I don't know any of these fucking people. So no, you're not.
I need to organize crime. I tell you that.
Courtney doesn't know who Ti is.
So
I've seen his face, but I don't think enough I've heard his.
No idea what music that man made.
I'll probably get a lot of hate by saying it, but I don't care. But Ti is not a good MC. Chance the Rapper is one of the judges as well. He's okay, yeah, but I'm like, fucking hell, no. And I can't believe I watched this show for the whole entire season, and I'm like, oh man, I lost hope. Rap is dead. Hip hop is dead. Officially died. It's died and buried. If they think Cardi B is good enough to be a fucking judge at a rap or hip hop fucking talent show, nah. Rap is dead to me.
What's the world come to?
Long live the underground, man. It's like, all the good rappers that they were all the rappers they were rejecting were actually not bad, and all the shitty ones that can sell records and sell an image they're letting on.
Oh, of course, because about money.
Fuck this shit. And Emily's like, why do you keep watching it then? Because
I can bitch about it then.
You can watch artists.
Yeah. All right. So I'm done.
All right, back to Robbie. Rob Cam.
All right, yeah, get it over.
I'm done. That's pretty much the result. Said it's really subtle now that I blended it in, and I said it's only like certain parts. Hang on a second. I gotta move my light. If I move it there, then it should be okay. Yeah. So now I'm going to add some pigments on the hands.
All right. So what sort of pigments will you be using today?
I will be using. Okay, hang on. Let me grab my pigment thingy.
You said that's a little bit in. No. Cool.
Now, there's a lot of pigments out there, of course. But
are all pigments created equal, Rob?
So from Vallejo to MIG to AK, but I'm using Humbrol. The Humbrol weathering pigment. I actually like this because you don't. I often apply pigments dry, and this has got a lot of staining power applied dry. Like usually Vallejo, I find that, especially if you gave it a satin coat, actually even with a matte coat, it takes ages. Like it takes a while for it to, it takes heaps to apply it dry. So, but these guys will stain even if you apply it dry. So what I'll do, just on the hands.
Are you using more than one color?
I like to use like a dark rust. So yeah, iron oxide or something equivalent first, right? And then like a lighter rust on top of that. But I do have, say, if you're gonna apply this, I suggest that you grab like a shitty brush, and I do have a pigment brush that I just use just for pigments.
Does the shape of the brush matter at this point?
No, not real. Oh, not really. I don't think. But not a flat brush.
Now, also, so you're just concentrating on the hands, yeah?
Mhm.
Would you do any around the
As you can see,
lower of the feet as well?
yeah, you can, of course. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. I might do that too. But see how I didn't clean the hands off, right? I didn't clean the hands off, so that's still a bit wet. So that's going to act as a binder, and that should bind all of this shit together.
So therefore, if you do it that way, you won't need to go back in with a binder after, yeah?
Yeah, no, you don't need to. If you're going to apply more layers, then yeah, it's a tiny drop of thinner should suffice, or some more washes. Yeah.
Now, one thing I will say with pigments as well is put down a sheet of paper where you're working, because this shit will go everywhere and it's a prick to clean off. And if you get it all over your cutting mat, you find you get it over the hands, over all the light switches in your house, over the bathroom, over the toilet, over your junk, and the missus
on your dick when you're masturbating, and you're like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is this red rash on my dick?" Like, oh, that's just.
Oh no!
I'm sorry. Oh no!
Well, if they're on the paper, you can save the excess, right? Or is there going to be any excess?
Depends how much you're using. I don't save the excess. I just chuck it out. I'm not that poor.
No.
All right. Simple. That's all you got to do. And actually the feet as well. So if we're gonna do the feet.
Sorry, Taz, you're just slightly off center.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
There we go.
So if we're gonna do the feet, oh shit.
Now,
don't do
in my case,
don't do what
in my case, I do not actually have any rust-colored pigments. So what I find I'm doing until I get off my ass and actually buy some rust pigments, I'm just applying some Dark Earth from MIG at the moment around the feet. And then what I will tend to do is come back in with my light rust wash, and I just use that as a binder over the top of the Dark Earth, and it just keeps it more rust colored and seals it in place too. So
that's it.
If I just pop
could you use rust colored makeup?
What's that, sorry?
Could you raid your girl's makeup cabinet and get some rust colored makeup? Eyeshadow.
If she wore makeup, yes.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Courtney doesn't wear any makeup.
So here I'm just going for the lower bottom of the feet, just touching it so it soaks. And we'll just sort of give it a rub all over, and I'm just trying to work the pigment so you'll see it start binding up and being uneven. As soon as this dries, it'll matte out as well. I quite like that with these tones, and throwing a bit more loading this brush up with it being wet with pigments creates a little bit more texture as well. So I'm just trying to work the bottom of the feet, not go too crazy. I don't want to rust halfway up.
Too crazy on that? I'll be fucking nuts on it.
Oh, well, it's each to your own on how much or little you do. Obviously, you can also buy specific binders, but I find they're pretty similar to your thinners and your enamel washers. So, I mean, I use this one a bit as well, which is the Pigment Fixer from SMS, and it's essentially just a thinner. Might be a little bit more sticky.
Yeah, that's a clear liquid, isn't it?
Yes, it is a clear liquid.
Yeah. See, the Vallejo one's milky.
Does the Vallejo one dry clear though?
Yeah, it dries clear. It's just trying to be weird. It's like, oh, milky.
Does anyone out in the chat have any questions or comments, concerns?
Yeah. How you going, guys?
Rob just got straight into it. James,
Again,
you introduce yourself?
Yeah, he did.
yeah, I did.
No, Rob did. Did you, James?
Yeah, at the start.
No, I don't remember.
Number
I wasn't here
what?
for that. I wasn't here for that.
Oh, you were, but you weren't.
Exactly.
All right. So once I've thrown down that and set it aside to a dry. So what's your next plan of attack on that? Are you going to hit it with more different colors of your pigments?
I guess we can, because if you look at that, if you look at the foot, my foot, I'm just going to wait for that to dry a bit because it's still a bit wet, so it's still a bit darker. It will go lighter when it's dry. But I guess you can add some like light yellow or a really light white. Oh, is that my? Oh no! No!
What happened?
Shit. I dropped my camera and it's fucking spilt all over the place.
Oh no.
Hang on, it's oh god, thinner. Lucky it's only enamel. Thinner everywhere. Hang on a second. God damn it.
No, you pulled a Geo, man.
Yeah, no.
Shouldn't pull Geo, mate.
Nope. Not unless he's paying.
Hang on a sec. Sorry, guys.
No, you're right.
Sorry, you're
Spilled it all over my shit. Lucky it's odorless.
What's all going on? I am. Where's my camera? This blade, I did some cast iron kind of shit on the blade, and it's kind of run over into this line where the blade meets the not blade part. So I'm just restriping that line with a point.
It's all over the ball. It's all over the polypod ball.
Oh no!
Oh.
Is it messing it up?
No.
So we're just having a few technical difficulties here, so I'm just going to keep
Yeah, I spilled shit. Sorry. Hang on a second. Did I get the actual paper part? No, that didn't get that.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I'll make there's a mental image for your morning. You just got to reach up in there and pull the fucker out.
Like burning a cow. Yep.
I knew that was going to happen too.
If you guys haven't seen Brian's build the original Mecha contest, I'm pretty sure that's what he's painting. That shit is crazy cool.
100%. Definitely go check it out if you get a chance.
Yeah, if you guys don't follow Bro Builder on YouTube, I'm sure the 7 other people in here besides us do. But him and Paul do a show every Wednesday. It's nice because my job allows me to watch YouTube videos all day, so I've been catching up and watching their past streams. Yeah, they're fun, they're good, and his shit is amazing. So I'm anxious to see some paint on that.
Most definitely. How you going there, Robbie?
Dude. Yeah, good. I'll clean it later.
This whole world's coming crashing down, okay?
I'm just wondering if thinners fuck up plastic parts, but it doesn't. I don't think.
No, it shouldn't. Not just bare plastic.
Yeah, it's bare plastic.
Not unless it's the only thinner that messes up bare plastic is Tester's enamel thinner.
Okay, cool. I
don't really know why, because it's need to go on plastic, but it will fuck plastic up.
Oh god. Fuck.
Spilt it on my ball.
Not your ball.
On my ball.
Always spilling shit on balls.
All right, that'll do. So, to add a bit more variety on your rust tones, I'm using Eddie Potera's rust starter kit.
Oh yeah.
Basically, it's just pigments, different colored pigments, in a special container. Oops, that's spilled everywhere. Everything's fucking spilling, dude.
Man, I haven't seen anything from him in a while. Maybe then my Instagram is not showing me his feed.
Mm.
You mentioned his name, and I swear I haven't seen any posts from that guy.
You and me,
So what
boys.
he's got is like iron oxide, dark rust, light rust, and yellow ochre. And they're all meant to be blended. So if I'm just going to use a bit of yellow here, just for like a light rust, and you just blend it on.
Now, obviously, the bottom of the feet are never going to be seen. So that would be a really good place to practice your techniques as well before you move them up the kit, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, of course.
I will be right back. Sorry.
Do it up. James is battling a head cold with some hay fever or something like that. Yeah, jazz in the background. And Brian and Paul's stream.
So how many people are watching?
There are 7 people watching. Because I got it open on my tablet.
Oh, yeah, cool. Those 7 people, if you want to help Shane out as well, he's selling some of his kits.
Thanks, bud.
Get him to the SGMC.
Thanks, man.
You know what? You should sell nudes.
Sell nudes. People buy nudes.
Well, what I was, I had the idea I should sell some hats, man. The 7 Samurai.
If you sell some, all you need is one customer, and that's it. You know,
one customer for nudes.
One customer, man, that nobody knows. No one's gonna know. And
well, it's like we were talking at work the other day. Guy said someone said something about sucking a dick, and I was like, sucking dick fine as long as like I'm not the one sucking the dick. And then the guy was like, well, how much would it cost? I'm like, man, like $250,000 cash on the table.
$20 is $20.
$20. So it's like, there's a price for everyone. But I mean, if you never had to see the dude again, and all you had to do is give him some service and walk out of the room, and no one would know but you and that guy, what's the price?
The moral of the story is you're a whore.
Everyone's a whore.
The moral of the story is everyone wants to suck someone's dick. That's what I got from that.
If the price is right.
My ex-girlfriend put that hypothetical onto me, like, would you suck a dick for $1 million? I said, man, I'll suck a dick for $50.
Yeah, I mean, come on, $1 million? That's an expensive blowjob. You must be really good.
No, I said, like, of course, $1 million, and I don't see the person again, and you know what I mean, like 5 minutes of discomfort and shit like that, and I'll get $1 million in cash, never see the dude again, and even if I get that paranoid, I'll get a hitman to fucking kill that dude, so he'll never talk.
Yeah, for $200,000. So then you got 800. Yeah. You got fucking $800,000, whatever. Fucking play with.
Or you could just be really proud that you got $1 million.
Or you could be like, hey, I just got paid $1 million. That was the best. I mean, how many people get paid $1 million to suck a dick? That's got to be like, you can call Guinness Book World of Records up and be like, hey, that's like the most expensive blowjob ever.
Hey, man, it's 2019. No one's going to judge you for sucking a dick.
Nope.
Yeah, true. But, $1 million is $1 million.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, cash in hand. Fuck yeah. Well, wouldn't you? And I said, so well, you wouldn't? Serious? For $1 million?
Like, I suck your dick for free. What the fuck?
You wouldn't eat. Yeah. You wouldn't eat like a pussy out for $1 million? Don't
Nothing
lie.
but the most highbrow conversations here on the Four Horsemen streams.
Politicians do, Shane. Yeah. That's true, George. That's so true.
Oh, George is still here. Hey, man.
George is still here. You can't see who's in, but yeah, George is here. Thanks. Brian said he'd buy a hat. Thanks, Brian. I've had about 10 people want to buy a hat.
Oh. So as far as the pigments are done, I'm going to leave it at that. It's just, like I said, it just adds texture to your rust wash. It's up to you how far you want to corrode it, I guess. But like I said, if you're going to corrode it deep, always have different colors, not just the
one rust tone.
Say not just that. So always have these three in different spots, because if you look at rusty things, it's never just one color. Shit, some of it's even black that I've seen. So have a play of like dark rust, iron oxide, light rust, or orange and yellow, or yellow ochre, and have a play of those, and you should get like the effect or the results you're after. But with this yellow ochre, just don't just put it on. Like try to blend it, because it's supposed to lighten up certain spots. And yeah, like I've never seen yellow rust. So and that's
now with your blending of pigments, I find I tend to like to use a soft, big round brush to apply. Soft brushes are better, yes, for that sort of work.
Yeah, I just use the pigment brush that I've been using all the time, and that seems to work. Yeah, that is a round, soft, roundy kind of brush too.
All right. So once you've done all your pigments, what is your next plan of attack?
After the pigments have dried and all of that, I usually sit back and have a bong. But
my kind of
this, I just look back. I usually do this in the dark. So at my old place, it's a bit dark. So I'll usually come back in the morning and have a look to see what needs to be adjusted or redone, and then I'll do that. But after this, if the actual kit isn't worn enough for me, I'll go and let it dry, and then I'll go do a filter, like start adding filters to it. So for this one, I might add a dot filter.
All right.
Oops, I just took my glove off. I'll put another one on. But I'll just I'll just put the lids back on these things, because I'm sure I'm going to spill it.
No.
Because I am clumsy. See, it's fucking wet still. What the fuck? Don't be like me and spill shit everywhere.
It comes with the territory, I think.
Did I just? Yeah, I did. Yeah, damn it. Yeah, damn it.
So how's your build coming along there, Shane?
Good, man. I'm just going through the pieces, doing a little sanding, and about to wash them, and then I'm going to put some primer on these.
Good times.
Yeah, I think I'm just about done. There's a nasty seam on the head and the chest.
Yep.
I don't know, so I'm just going to sand that out a bit, and then I'm kind of freaking out because I seem to have lost a forearm.
Oh.
Well, I modded it and took the seam out, so I'm not sure where it is, but it has to be somewhere on my desk somewhere. So. Yeah, I filled the seam on the arm and just I put like a little bit of styrene, little nib right on the elbow. And
For sure.
I don't know where my other one went. For sure.
It's the jerk that's being loud. Oh, mate, Taz is
I'll get on my book. What's Taz doing?
got the old fan on?
I might do some more in this shield.
I don't know what that was.
So I like the shield.
Ooh. So George says he wants beanies. That's a good idea. It's getting winter for you guys, is it not?
Yeah, we could do the Robo beanie.
We are coming into summer, so everything's getting warm, which is nice.
You
Oh well,
bastard.
spring anyway here, so the pollen is killing me.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's your damage.
So
Pollen's killing you.
and then I took like some antihistamines, but they make you drowsy as all hell, these ones. So I'm like half falling asleep, and it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon here.
Oh man, I've already had my nap, so I'm fine.
Nice. 2 o'clock and already had a nap.
Yep, I got a fever last night, which is weird. Like I could not get like cold. Sorry, I could not get warm. Everything was fucking freezing and shit. Had the heater up to about 25, and it was weird.
Yeah, I mean, sun's out here, and I've got the heater on inside because I'm like freezing and dying. I like think I'm getting I'm sick, obviously, but the show must go on.
Yay,
That's
good
right.
sport. Good sport. Yeah, Brian recently adopted an 80% hair reduction, he said.
I did see that you removed your mane.
Yes. Now Paul's got the mane.
Some sort of topsy-turvy world here, so
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't been on there. I hadn't seen or watched one of their streams in a month or so, and I got on. I was like, holy fuck, Paul's hair is like glorious. Where is the hand?
So just more pigments, obviously, to the shield, Rob, now.
Yeah, I'm just adding some more on the shield here. Because I like this shield. I think it needs more rust.
Yeah, by choice. He got a well, I don't know. It's a severe wedge, I would say. Did you get the wedge cuts when you were kids, guys? Like
What the hell is a wedge
what?
So, okay, you would have like a chili bowl, right? But then they pull your hair up and they would shave it around so that when your hair did fall down, it was all shaved underneath it.
An undercut?
Bowl cut.
Well, like, you know what a bowl cut, we would call it a wedge. How's the GBWC coming? Well, Ed, it's done, man. It's been done for a few weeks. I think we're talking about the Hyzer. I haven't started my next GBWC build yet. I'm not sure what that may entail. I have a lot of ideas, but I'm not sure what's gonna come out.
Jester cat.
Say that again.
Do a jester.
Just a cat. So imagine a bowl cut, like a chili bowl cut, but then like if all your hair was picked up and then you shaved it all the way around, and then the hair, like your hair was still long, and then it would come back down. It would still look like a chili bowl, but your head would be completely shaved underneath the hair.
So undercut.
Sure.
An undercut.
An undercut, yes.
Yeah, we call it an undercut. I think everyone had an undercut in year 10.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, I mean, hell yeah.
It was all the rage.
Ed, are you on Instagram? Are you that nerd? I'm not sure. Ed, check out my Instagram. I've got a few pics running around. I took a bunch of outdoor pics, and I'm gonna do another album of those because I've got a shitload of them.
So, aside from that, what are your plans? Were you still working on your commissioned piece there, Rob? The old Power Ranger, or have you finished that yet?
No, I've not finished it yet. I have shit. I don't finish anything. You know this.
Yeah, I know.
I'm very close. Here's the head.
I'll see that head one more fucking time. Not done. I'm gonna laugh at you.
Well, I'm sorry. There's not enough time in the day. You're asked about it. I wasn't going to show it, but you asked about it.
Yeah, no, I was curious. I thought you might have finished the head by now. You've been working on that head for 3 years.
Right?
Maybe 4, man.
You've been working on that head since I've known you.
Yep. As long as I've known you, you've been working on that head.
Yeah.
It was a gift for a wedding, and then the guy got married, and then they had a child, and now the kid's like 3 years old.
Yep.
Pretty bad.
The moral of the story is don't commission me to do anything.
If you've got, if you're not if you're in a rush.
Oh God, no. Well, what's funny is the guy's like, "It's fine, don't rush." I'm like, he just said that to me like last week.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, no hurry, man. I'm like,
Okay.
all right.
So I take it you're going pretty heavy there, Rob?
Just on the shield, only because I like the shield. I like this. I don't know, for some reason, just the bottom anyway. But it got to the top here, which I'm going to clean off.
Head,
Now, let me tell you about Humbrol pigments.
Let me just tell you about
these
keeping
pigments
it on camera.
These pigments here,
To the
Humbrol.
left.
There's two ways to apply this with their decal fix or decal fix or with their enamel thinner mixed with a matte coat or a gloss coat, depending on if you want it to be, like a wet mud or dry mud. Now, if you mix this with their decal fix, you can actually go back to it. If say you used it as wash, you didn't like it, you can go back to that and with water, and it will reactivate it, and you can clean it off, and I guess you can edit it if that's the right word. But if you use it with their enamel thinner, then you have to do that with enamel thinner. But yeah, it's really good in that sense that you can go back and redo it or take it off or add some more on if you're not too happy with the results that you've gotten. I don't know if Vallejo does that. I'm pretty sure it's probably the same all around, but it's just with this one, with their decal fix, it's pretty good. I should actually start doing that again. I haven't done that in a while. That's why I like Humbrol so much. But yeah, so that's just the shield. Now with your rust, right? After all of the rust is done and all your chipping is done, what I'll do is go around it with a graphite pencil or metallic pigments and just go around the edges and give it a metallic sheen. I think I've posted a few photos on my page where things are rusted, but you can actually, if you have a closer look, it's got like a metallic tinge to it as well. And graphite pencils or metallic pigments will do that, and it just adds a bit of realism, more realism to your piece. So maybe when this is fully dried, like the hands and on the shield, I'll go around that with. I do have dark iron, and that's what I like to use, or just a graphite pencil. Really, I usually use 4B or 5B because they're darker and softer. So yeah, but I think we're done. I think that's it.
Done for the day?
I think we're done for the day, unless you want to do something else. If you think of something else.
Pretty much you're on the show for this until we finish the weathering.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just waiting for it to dry. Look, I don't think I'll do a dot filter. Looking at it now, it's looking pretty okay now. I might do like paint fading in the next episode, and I'm just going to use buff with that, like a buff oil paint, and just what do you call it, fade certain areas or lighten certain areas, maybe even do highlights. But I think for now, I think we're done. This step is done.
Very cool.
Hang on a second. Let me So, yeah. The host is unmuting your mic. Yeah, good. So, looking at it now, it's starting to get me a bit more grimy, a bit more rusty, I guess. When it comes to the engine, I'll probably use like some petrol spills and fuel spills for the joints as well. We'll do that later on. That'll be one of the last things we do. But yeah, this is going really good. When I was talking about fading, I'm talking about, so for instance here on the Mohawk, If you notice, like vehicles has been left out in the in outside, and it's weathered and it's rusty and shit. Their paint jobs isn't immaculate, and you can actually see that it's starting to fade, and that's what I want to do next. So I want to fade not the whole kit, but areas where I guess the sun would have touched it more than others. So the mohawk, the top of the head, depending how we're going to lay this down, I'll probably ask you about that later, James. Depending how we're going to lay this thing down, or if it's standing up on the dio, the top of the shields here, the top of the cauldrons, the feet, maybe the backpack as well. So yeah, we'll do that next. But that's what it's starting to look like. So it's got a bit more. Ooh, hang on a second. So I guess with pigments, you gotta be careful where you put it. So I'll put it somewhere with pigments, and it's got pigments all over it now. You can just, you just fade that out. Actually, no, I might leave it. It actually doesn't look too bad. But so yeah,
very cool.
Be rusty a bit. And like I said, guys, this isn't the be all end all. These are just the basics that we're showing you. There are a lot of fucking things to do with weathering, like heaps. Some of it I don't even know, and some of it I'm not going to show. Like I said, we're only showing you the basics, and you can go from there. But sometimes it's all you need anyway, And again, god damn it. Yeah, don't put it where your pigments are, right? Because you will get pigments fucking everywhere, like I am.
For sure.
So I'm gonna leave that here where it's not. Oh, that's not okay right now.
So let's just ask, how are you going to approach that ammonia wash Windex? I missed what the start of the question was on. Sorry, I wasn't.
Sorry, what was the question?
I'm just waiting for Brian to respond. I missed the start of what he was referring to.
How are you going to approach that? Approach what? I'm not sure what he's talking about.
We're going to approach it with much gusto and keenness and some hoorah. That's how we're going to approach it, man. No half-stepping, dude.
The sun fading. I think he's talking about
sun fading
buff.
All right, the sun fading buff oil paint is really good for that.
Now, Rob, will that work on like so I'm thinking to do some reds. Will the buff work on red?
It should work.
Okay.
It should work. Like buff is like kind of like the universal fading paint, I find.
Okay. Yeah.
Either that, or you blend a lighter tone of your base coat and doing it that way and fading it that way. But what I find is just a touch of buff and blending it on, that will fade the paint relatively good. With acrylics though, if you're going to use acrylics for your for your fading method, I'd suggest that you do a lighter shade of your base coat and doing it that way. I don't think fading it with buff acrylics won't work. Fading it with acrylics won't work. So, and you can either do that with dot filters as well. You can add filters on it. Like I said, if this paint job here got a bit too much and it's getting a bit muddled and shit, I'll just blast this with like a light blue or like a clear blue from Tamiya, and it should bring out like all the what is it? Is it U? Yeah.
Hue.
I should make it a bit more lively. If you think that it's starting to to get muddled and get faded and shit like that. But yeah, no, with sun fading, I would use buff oil paints. And I'll show you that next week.
Sweet.
So easy.
Or next stream will be next week. Yeah, and like with oil dot filters, that's what you're doing with oil dot filters. You're adding grime and some fading If you have a look at my builds, like the gun tank, for instance, and the Hidolfa, all of those were dot filtered, and you can see the result, like the difference from like before I done it to after. It just adds some grime to it and fading.
That's crazy.
And I didn't even bother doing that with buff yet. So
too easy. Well, if that's it, I'm gonna.
Last thing as well. Sorry. Last thing. If you have any clear parts, for instance, this lens that I've got here, I'm gonna do that later on. If you have any clear parts on your kit, make sure that you wear that too. So it'll kind of look weird that everything else is weathered, but you've got like clear visors and shit like that. That should be dirty too. All right.
It makes sense. It would be dirty. Everything else is dirty.
Everything else is dirty. So that
so like I'm putting a clear piece on mine, right? So like, would you put it on early, or would you wait to do a lot of the weathering, put it in, and then just add some more weathering to it?
I usually do my clears if I'm doing a like a tank, like not a tank, but like vehicles on some shit like the gun tank, the cockpit of the gun tank. I do that last.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, do that last. And I usually just do it with like a brown wash or a dark brown wash, and that should do.
Okay.
But I said everything else after this will be when we do the dio. So we are going to do mud and soot and all that good stuff. But I think it's better when we do the diorama to actually know where to put it. So it kind of relates to the whole picture.
The environment. Yeah. So it relates to the environment, makes sense in the context that it's in.
Yep.
Way cool.
So what else are you guys working on, James? Let's see some of those Hot Wheels.
Yeah, so I did. So what have I been doing?
Or do you want to? I mean, do you want to hop off?
What's over?
So do you guys want to cut this short?
We're gonna probably cut this one short. I'm feeling pretty under the weather at the moment, so
feeling under the weathering.
You sound pretty bad. What was that? What did you say?
Feeling under the weathering. Get it? Under the weathering. Get it?
I get it.
So for anyone who follows me, I've been working on this little guy. I designed him more like an auto cat with a six-legged walking bolt whip. I just did 3D print him in resin. I will be making this into like 1/35th scale. This is just a proof of concept, small 1/72nd scale walker. So keep an eye out. I'll be hopefully doing a resin kit of this guy soon.
Exciting.
It's just something fun. I've always sort of wanted to make my own little vehicle mech thing, and I saw a John Deere tractor concept thing that locks down trees that has a big crane arm. So I'm doing a crane arm that I might mount flamethrowers on or something. So this was pretty much loosely based off that. So we'll see how that goes from there. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty much going to have to wrap this up because I'm like really not feeling good. And I'm falling asleep.
You guys are great. Cool, man.
I figured we may as well get more done, otherwise we'll never finish this thing.
Very much.
But if you want to, sorry guys for ending in an hour early today, but
no worries.
Is what it is. Do you want to say your goodbyes and whatnot, Shane? I'll smoke you again.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming by. Join us next time where maybe I will be on par with the rest. And maybe we'll have a Geo show up. Who fucking knows? Stranger things have happened.
See, this is what James was talking about.
What's that?
Before?
What's that?
Oh, yeah, have a bit of.
Oh, yeah, you get rust.
Paper towel under your shit because you will get pigments fucking everywhere, and that's what I'm getting now. So.
Thanks everyone for coming by.
Oh, is that it? We're wrapping up.
George, yeah, we're gonna end it. If you want to say anything, Robbie.
Yeah. What am I gonna say? Fucking nothing. Yeah. Oh well, thanks for hanging out. As well, if you guys got any more like weathering and all the other, just hit me up or hit all, and that's what it's all about in it. So, but yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope that helps. So till the next episode, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, and I've been Zaku, so thanks for watching again, guys. Sorry to cut it short this time, but we will be back again in 2 weeks, provided everything goes according to plan, and we'll tackle a little bit more weathering, and then after that, we will be on to the dioramas, I believe.
Cool.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you all, guys.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Thumbs up. Thumb up.